Hello guys, welcome back to another video. And today I want to talk to you guys about the concept of the fear of losing. And more specifically, I want to start with this statement. The fear of losing perpetuates true loss. And so now what exactly does that statement mean? The fear of losing perpetuates true loss. Well, let me jump into some examples. I know a lot of people that they're so afraid of the possibility that they may not win, that they may lose, that they don't even attempt what they're so desiring. They don't even try, just out of fear that they're gonna fail. For instance, I had a friend. He prepared for his exam, but then he was like, "Wow, I don't feel good. I feel nervous. I feel this." And so as a result, what did he do? He deferred his exam, and as a result, he has to retake the course next year because they're not offering it to him. He had that fear of losing. I had another friend. For example, he wanted to ask this one girl out, but he was so afraid of being rejected by her that he didn't even take that opportunity. He didn't take that chance. And as a loss, that girl ended up with somebody else. Again, he was so afraid to lose. He was so afraid to come up short that he didn't even make that attempt. He didn't even take that chance. He didn't even put any belief in himself or even allow that possibility to begin. Because let me tell you guys, there are two types of regrets in life, and one is worse than the other. And as we know in life, we always pick the lesser of the evils. And so now, here are the two regrets. The first regret is when you do something and you come up short. That makes sense. Sometimes in life, like I mentioned in my last video, we put in effort, we put in the work, but we still come up short. And obviously, there's bound to be some regrets in that sense. The second type of regret, which is significantly worse in my opinion, is a regret you feel when you had the possibility, the availability, or the chance to do something, but you merely didn't do it out of fear. You didn't even take that risk. At least when you take that risk, at least when you take that chance, you're not left with doubts. At least when you do that, you're not left with the questions of like, oh, what if I did this? What if I did that? What if, what if, what if? When you actually take that chance or take that risk, you're not left with that regret in that sense. In contrary to this certain predicament, when you don't take that risk, when you don't take that chance, you are left with a regret, and a regret in which you keep asking yourself hypothetical or theoretical questions. And that's why I'm saying we want to avoid that. As human beings, that is one of the worst feelings you can have. And then a lot of people, they live their lives like that. They live their lives in that sense for their whole lives, where they simply do not take any risks because they are afraid of what may happen. And I'm no different. I am just like those people. You are just like those people. And everyone's been in that situation. We've all been in that situation where we believed a certain outcome to be so true. We believed it to be so perfect and so true that we didn't even bother trying. Yet after that outcome passed, we would reflect and we would be like, wow, what if I did this? So let me ask you this. If you were so sure about that outcome, why do you still have questions about it? Why are you still regretting it? Why are you still having second thoughts about that outcome that you were so certain and so positive for? And I'm not any better. Let me get that straight. I'm just like that. Oftentimes, I will tell myself, like, this is what's going to happen. I shouldn't waste my time doing this. I already know what's going to happen. And then when something happens or when something else happens, I think to myself, hey, what if I did this instead? What if I did that instead? So if I'm asking myself all of these theoretical questions after something occurs, did I really know what was going to happen? And that's what comes back to my own quote. The fear of losing perpetuates true loss. Because the truth is, in life, there's only win or lose, let's be honest. And that may be a harsh way to look at it, but that's an objective way to look at it. It's like, hey, if I pick option A, and there's only option A and B, well, only one of them is going to be right, one of them is going to be false. And again, at the end of the day, it's better to take a guess, it's better to take a chance than to not take any chance at all. At least you have an answer. At least you're satisfied by that answer. Because at the end of the day, guys, to this point, when you don't take a risk, when you leave things up for chance, you still lost at the end of the day. Think about it. Let's go back to that example of asking a girl out. You're afraid she's going to say no, or you're afraid he's going to say no. So you don't ask them. Okay, you didn't ask them. So you don't lose in the sense that you're rejected, but you lose in the sense that someone else gets with them. So at the end of the day, your inability to take a chance and your inability to take a risk still perpetuated another form of loss. You may have not been directly attacked or assaulted in that sense, but you still lost. You lost in the sense that you didn't get what you want. Let's say there's an opportunity where you have an internship. You can take this internship, but you're afraid, like, oh, what if I have to move away? What if I have to do this? So you don't reply. You don't reply to them. You don't even apply. You don't apply. And so you didn't apply to that internship. Okay, you didn't get rejected by them. You didn't have to move away. But at the end of the day, did you gain anything in return? Did you have a positive net return? No, you didn't. That's still a loss. I'll give you guys one more example. Let's say you have the opportunity to fight for a boxing championship, okay? And you're in that boxing championship. You're given the potential and the possibility, like, hey, you can take this fight, and if you win, you are the champion. You will fulfill your lifelong dream, your lifelong goal. And this could be attributed to any sport. So now you're sitting there, you're like, hey, I can take this risk, and I can fulfill my destiny, I can fulfill my goals. Or you think, hey, you know what, maybe I'm scared of losing. Maybe I don't want to ruin my reputation. Maybe I don't want this. Maybe I don't want that. Maybe I don't want to come up short. Maybe I'm so afraid of the possibility that I'm not even going to try. And what happens when you don't try? Someone else steps up. Someone else lives out your dream. Someone else wins. At the end of the day, you didn't fulfill your dream. You didn't accomplish your dream. You didn't succeed in your dream. So at the end of the day, you still lost. You still failed. And that's where the quote, the fear of losing perpetuates true loss, truly comes from. So like me and like you guys, and like everyone, I truly do hope that we are able to find it within ourselves to overcome this fear and to act on our actions and do what's best for us and not let fear consume us. Thank you guys. Please like and subscribe.